European leaders held an emergency meeting on Sunday after U.S. President Donald Trump threatened sweeping new tariffs on some NATO allies unless Washington is allowed to buy Greenland. The EU has rejected the demand as blackmail and is preparing retaliatory steps while urgently pushing for diplomacy. Officials say the bloc could impose counter tariffs on around $108 billion of U.S. goods, while also considering the use of a tougher anti-coercion tool that could restrict American access to European markets. The crisis is expected to dominate both the upcoming EU summit on Thursday and talks at the World Economic Forum in Davos this week, which Trump is due to attend. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez warned that any U.S. military move on Greenland would fracture NATO and be a big boost for the Kremlin.
First, because it would in some way legitimize Putin's invasion and his unilateral action and questioning of Ukraine's territorial integrity. And second, because I very much fear that if such an invasion of Greenland by the United States were to occur, it would spell the death certificate of NATO.
Danish Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen said dialogue with Washington remained open through a new trilateral working group involving Denmark, Greenland, and the United States.
The talks were constructive and where we also decided to continue working on it and see if we could find a solution that leads to President Donald Trump abandoning the idea of owning Greenland. That secures Greenland's sovereignty, the Danish kingdom's territorial integrity, while at the same time accommodates reasonable U.S. expectations and requests. And that is what we agreed.
8 European nations issued a joint statement offering full solidarity with Denmark and Greenland and warning that tariff threats risk a dangerous downward spiral in transatlantic relations. The dispute has also unsettled markets, raising doubts over recent U.S. trade agreements with the EU and Britain. Monday morning trade in Asia saw the dollar dip against other major currencies, while gold and silver, often seen as safe havens, jumped to new record highs. Analysts say the crisis has now escalated into one of Denmark's most serious foreign policy challenges in decades, raising questions about NATO cohesion and Europe's ability to respond collectively. Public frustration is growing in Denmark and Greenland, where residents say they will not be pressured over territorial integrity.
I think he has lost his mind. I hope that there soon will be some more clever people in the States who will tell him, no, it's not going to work, this thing.
EU leaders say they remain willing to engage, but insist Europe will not be coerced. With Trump's February deadline for imposing the tariffs fast approaching, the next round of talks will determine whether the dispute eases or heads toward a broader confrontation.